So with that, I am going to turn it over to the pre-award director, Jeff Sheeter, who is in our shop, and he can talk about pre-award services that we offer. Jeff?
Yep, coming.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to share my screen here. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yep, all
Yep,
good.
cool. Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna try and go pretty quickly on this. I know we're running a little bit behind, and some of what I'm gonna go over, Jessica kind of touched on already, and Jessica did talk a little bit about the restructure. I'm going to talk about sponsored projects as it currently exists today. Um, and a lot of what I'm going to talk about is still going to exist under the restructure. Just might be a couple different roles and might be doing it, so it might just change just a tad. Okay. So sponsored project services, we are the business office at UB, authorized to submit applications and accept awards on behalf of the university. If you ever want to pop over, we are located in the UB Commons. We are upstairs from Starbucks. As Jessica alluded to, we partner with and support the PI throughout the life cycle of a project. One point I want to get through is the legal name of any proposal that comes in or an award that enters university is done under the Research Foundation for SUNY. You might have heard the Research Foundation spoken in some of these presentations. Again, that's the legal entity that accepts awards and submits proposals on behalf of the university. Our office is kind of broken out into pre versus post, though there's a lot of overlap in that. What do we mean by pre-award services? Basically, we help develop your budget with you. We help with proposal administrative, legal, and compliance matters. We conduct a final compliance review. We submit your proposal, and there's also that kind of nebulous area in between a proposal submission and an award issuance. Sometimes there's a dialogue with the sponsor. If you're involved with NIH, that's called the just-in-time period. Other sponsors, it's just they may ask for revised budgets or clarifications on scope of works or whatever. The pre-award team helps out with that too. There's also a post-award side, which is kind of the bulk of it. If you think about proposal period, it's usually maybe, and at best, it's going to be a month of time period of submitting a proposal, but then an award may last 4, 5, 6 years. So that's the bulk of where activity happens in our office. They negotiate and accept your awards. We help set up an account here for the budget to be spent. And we also help you kind of manage your award, and then we help with the closeout process. So what are the types of awards? So anything that you can think of pretty much runs through our office. We talk a lot about research, but that's not the only thing that runs through and is considered a sponsored project. There's also training, fellowships, evaluation, testing type of agreements. There's also a lot of public service, and there's also instruction types of projects. So it's not just research, though that's primarily what faculty work on. And then what type of sponsored agreements occur? Most people heard of grants or contracts. That's a bulk of what we do. There's also things called cooperative agreements, which are like grants, but they involve a lot of sponsor involvement in them. There's these other things, these other transaction authorities that the federal government uses to bypass their procurement process. We have maybe 1 or 2 of those. And then we also work on unfunded agreements. Those are like material transfer agreements, data use agreements. Those also flow through our office. Focusing on the pre-award side for budget preparation, so our office concentrates on the budget preparation part of the proposal. So you will work with our office, develop the proposal, and it usually goes through a couple of iterations. You generally have a rough draft of an idea of what you want in your budget, and then it'll go back and forth between one of our budget specialists 3, 4, 5 times until it's kind of finally it's finalized. Direct and indirect costs, that's something that will be kind of teased out during the budget process. Cost share is something that, as an institution, we do not want to do unless it's absolutely required by the sponsor. There's typically a budget justification that is also involved with the budget process, and that's generally what it means. It's justifying the expenses that you're putting in the budget that you're asking for funding from the sponsor. And then once the budget is final, it can be uploaded into our electronic system, which is called CLIck, in the approval form. So what is that? So our CLIck approval form is our internal institutional form that that tells us that all people that are associated with the proposal have kind of signed off on it. That would be the PI, and then any co-PIs and any relevant chairs and deans. And so that is routed electronically. It comes to our office at the end. So what do we have to do to finally submit something? Taking a step back, have these things in mind. Sponsor guidelines and requirements are numerous and cumbersome. We have anywhere like 2,000 sponsors. So everybody is different, and even within sponsors like in NIH, there's all different types of programs, all different types of terms and conditions and requirements. So it's varied. Many sponsors have their own electronic systems, their own portals. They're all a little bit different. They're all a little bit wonky. They all call things a little bit the same kind of term. They use different terminology. So that it takes time to kind of learn those systems. And then our job is to review every proposal to make sure it meets not only sponsor guidelines, but it adheres to UB, RF, and federal guidelines as well. So with all of that, there is a institutional 5-day policy, submission policy, which essentially means all administrative parts of the proposal should be finalized before the due date, 5 days before. So what is an administrative part? That's essentially the budget justification, and everything else except for the specific aims and the project scope. That is considered the scientific portion, and that is required 2 days before. Again, because of everything that I just stated, it takes time to review to make sure that the proposal is fully compliant. Proposals that don't meet these deadlines are given what's called an administrative review, just to make sure it meets the basics. And then you, as a faculty member, as a PI, are essentially rolling the dice, hoping that everything else kind of falls in line and is in compliance. The CLIck form, the approval form, has to also reach our office. That means that all people, all co-PIs, all chairs, all deans have institutionally signed off on the proposal, and that everybody agrees with it going out the door. And then the SPS administrator here in our office will submit the proposal. So my last takeaways, as Jessica stated, do not wait till the last minute. Once you know you want to submit something, reach out to us, even if it's a couple of months ahead of time. Always reach out to us as soon as you can, as early as you can. The institution, the RF, is the applicant, not the PI. So every time it says applicant, make sure it's the research foundation. Be familiar with the research policies. This is on the administrative services page. I can send this presentation to Jill, and she can send it out, so you can find the link to that. Don't sign anything. Please, please, please don't sign anything. Sponsors will sometimes send you documents to fill out. send them to your contact at SPS. Let us look it over first. Most times it's going to be an institutional signature that is required, which is what our office does. And especially any type of agreement like a data use agreement or a material transfer agreement, always run that through our office because you don't want to be the party to that. You want the university, specifically the RF, to be the party for that. And then wait, this is just for the proposals, wait until the budget is done to upload your and to submit your click approval form, because once you submit it, you can't edit it. And then please 5 business days before, give our office enough time to review the proposal. We want you to be successful, and so we catch a lot of things that you may not, because you're kind of buried in the proposal. You're looking at it for maybe a month, just kind of there's things that you're going to miss that we might catch immediately. So get us the stuff immediately. Do not wait till the last minute. And okay, that's my presentation.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jill.
And